Well, well. You know what? We made it to another week, and I know there's a whole lot of people sitting back saying, "Woo, finally? Really?" Yes, we have. You're talking to the Gospel Jazz Connection. This is D Nice, and I got Makita with me,
Hey.
the hostess with the mostest.
Hey.
Makita, how are you doing today, young lady?
I am so good. How are you?
Good. I know you're setting up for the Facebook Live set.
Yeah, my people have been calling me, so I got to get up on here if I can find this thing.
I know. You know what? We're just trying to just chill out. You know what? With Gospel Jazz Connection, we're here each and every week, and we're talking about some different issues that have affected our community. Mm-hmm. One of the major ones is health issues, mental health issues.
Yeah.
And those that know and see the news constantly and find out that a lot of our people are getting shot. And when they go back and do the backstory, they're finding out that some of the people acting out have had mental health issues.
Yeah.
They also talk about the problems we have on Skid Row. And when they look into that, they find out that some of the people there on Skid Row have mental issues. So mental health awareness, prevention, and cures are easily done once they're identified.
Yeah.
But we got to take the time to identify it. I know all of us know somebody who we could say is crazy, deranged. Some of us got people we live with that are crazy and deranged, people we married that we dating. So, we can have a lot to say about a whole lot of things.
And
but
somebody might say that about us.
Hey, you know what? We have fun on the show. So,
Yes.
You're listening to the Gospel Jazz Connection, and this is how we do it right here each and every week. So, we're going to sit back for the next hour, and you know what? We're going to start out with a hook I want to bring. I want to bring in a little Curtis Mayfield because I like Curtis. Curtis is good. So we're gonna kick it off with a little Curtis Mayfield. And so for the next hour, you're with me and Makita on the Gospel Jazz Connection.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax, and watch with your ears.
Don't even know if I can rap that smooth. I got it and I got it bad. The daddy love you crazy with a whole lot of sugar gravy. No other woman now can mean a thing. Let me show you, baby, what I mean. Show me love. Through the weather, winter, rain, or snow, it will never be too cold. Whining, baby, on my knees. Baby, if you please. One way to define is for me to put the action behind. No other woman now can mean a thing. Let me show you, baby. Let me show you, baby. Love, Where to live is to know all your shames and your pains. To be in search of plain old happiness. 'Cause you are a special one, God. And let nobody put you under. Whenever your friends, they have their doubts in you, and the words you know they just aren't true, keep right on stepping, ain't nothing happening. Never say you can't survive. Life is for a fruitful turning. May love forever keep us learning. Oh, no way to depart. Love in your heart. Know you need to give, 'cause you really want to live. Oh, you are a special wonder. Oh, baby, let nobody put you under. Oh, listen. When you make a way, a love and a hope, only then are you gifted with the will. Still you promise to die before you leave. So much to give. Oh, the need to be touched, you just do for me so much. It gives you an uplift, both of your hearts do a little dip. Embraced with the kisses of all your baby's lips. Good, good feeling, rocking and a reeling, loving and a teasing, kissing and a breathing. Hey, hey, good luck charms, laying in my arms. Need to be touched, need so much. No way to depart. Love in your heart. Know you need to give.
Okay, we
Okay.
are back. Okay, Ms. Makita.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's another day in the neighborhood, like they say,
Yes.
and you know we're stuck with issues. On the way up here, we saw an encampment on Broadway, and they're talking about the expansion they're doing on Broadway from
Yeah.
downtown. They're
Yes.
starting to go there and bring in these high caliber stores.
Right.
Downtown LA now
Right.
is a mecca for the techies are coming down and building the condos.
Yes.
And it looks like, you know what I'm saying, Wall Street
Right.
downtown.
Right.
But they keep moving the homeless encampments further out and further up.
That
So
breaks
we were
my
coming
heart.
down Broadway earlier, and they have a new encampment down there
Yes.
by the new stadium there,
Yes.
off of King Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the football season coming up, where the USC is going to be using the arena again, they're going to start going in there and killing that again.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of time where they just keep on shifting.
Yeah.
But we were talking about earlier, the people that if you really look at it, some of the people that are there, they're not there because they choose. What am I going to do today? Let me
Right.
go live on the street. Let me
Right.
pack up me and my
Right.
kids.
Right.
As a single mom, let me get my son or my daughter and just go out there and live on the street. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But when they are really checked with,
Yes.
then there are mental issues that ensue. It might have come from something as simple as a bad relationship,
Right.
a bad marriage,
Right.
and they got out with nowhere to go. And
Right.
you weren't any good. You're not going to be any good. You can't do nothing for yourself.
Right.
And so now she has to do something. So she's out homeless out there on the streets.
I know.
And once you hit them streets are not going to be kind.
Right.
And so, let's get in here right now and talk about some of the issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And in a minute, what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift over and we're going to listen to your music in the background because we do like us some Makita. So we're going to hear some of your music in the background. So the Curtis Mayfields we've been listening to was really, really, really something. I really enjoyed doing him today.
Yeah.
And Never Say You Can't Survive is the one that we just heard lately.
Right, that's right. And that, my thing is, like what we're talking about, of course, everyone knows we laid to rest the amazing, incomparable Aretha Franklin today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and boy, I was trying to leave to get ready to come out here, and man, it was still on. I was like, I didn't want to miss anything.
Right.
But we've been made aware that her son was dealing with mental issues, and these are the things like we never hear about unless you like on the inside of certain families and friends and different things like that. But mental illness is running rampant right now,
Right.
and we have got to come together. We've got to deal with it. We can't no longer just say Jesus gonna fix it in a better by and by. We have to put an action. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like we're sitting and waiting for the miracle.
Right.
When everything that you have on the inside of you has already given you the capacity, the power to change the atmosphere, to shift anything that's going on the inside of you. It starts with your belief system.
Right.
So as a man thinketh, so is he.
Right.
So if you think you're sick, if you think you're crazy, if you allow life's situations to have more precedent in your mindset and in your paradigm than what God has said, then of course we're running around and we're twisted. And then we have to watch these medications.
Right.
Because some of these medications are opening up the mind to a whole nother realm that ain't nobody ready for. So there are things that we really, really, really have to call it, because if you call a spade, it's really spiritual.
Right.
You know how some people think they're seeing things, they think they're hearing someone, that somebody's chasing them. That's all spiritual. That's spiritual warfare. And so there is a way for us to battle these demons, but we got to call it. We can't act like it doesn't exist and push things under the rug. That I think that's one of my biggest, it's a pet peeve with me. I am a person. My life journey has made me the type of woman that likes to hit things head on. Lies in my life, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't pretend that we don't got a problem when we got a problem.
Right.
I can't pretend this big pink elephant is not in the room, and I know he is. But we have been taught to put our heads down, shut up, don't talk about it, just keep it moving, don't embarrass the family, don't embarrass my church, don't embarrass. But yet what we're doing is continuing to empower and co-sign the crazy.
Right.
I mean, on any level, there's so many different levels where there's so many different aspects of life. Especially if it's negative, we don't want to address it. And we've got to address these things. You cannot heal from anything you're not willing to deal with.
Right.
That's just it, point blank.
That's true.
And that's my prayer, that we understand that that's so important. We got to call it. We got to call it. I hope the Facebook family that's listening in, I hope that that's a part of your mindset, that dealing with whatever the thing is, we have to deal with the thing in order to completely annihilate what is causing a spiritual cancer in our community, in our families. We have to deal with it. If we're not willing to deal with it, we're just going to continue to spiral down in this abyss of generational curses Am I correct about it?
No, that's true. That's true.
You know, I think generational curses is
It did. We didn't wake up one day and God was here.
No,
it's been spiraling for a while.
Yeah, man.
And you know, so now we're getting to the point where when our leader,
yes.
quote unquote, our leader has lost everything that we looked at and revered in the office, and those that really didn't take much stock into that office, with the last 8 years prior to this with Obama, he brought in that integrity. He brought in that, you know what I'm saying, the respect level. He brought in that you can do what you need to get done when you need to get it done. Because that man persevered. He walked in there with coal black hair and walked out with gray hair looking like Uncle Ben from the rice box. Because everything that he went after to get, as long as it had his name on it, they were down in it. Now, this Obamacare that they call Obamacare, they've been trying to put the same bill, word for word, together back there when the old man Bush came out with it. But when he got a chance to push it through, then suddenly it's Obamacare. It's the wrong thing to do. And so they got in touch with their people who are funding them, which are the pharmaceutical people, insurance companies, and said, look, here's how we're going to backlag this. We're going to go up on everything to make him look bad, and that way we can take it back and give you guys some money in the meantime. And so this is what he pitched to his people. Look, we're going to get rid of it. And then he found out the backlash shows you how much he really doesn't care about even his own people. His people that he was campaigning for, the ones that really didn't know much about politics, because when they get up in the morning, they got to work their farm. They got to, they do the crops. They do those things in the backwoods, what they do to survive. And these were a lot of his members that followed him and believed everything he said. Now, they were on, quote unquote, Obamacare too. And they were crying the blues because they're like, oh, it looks like we're going to lose what we both. And so they're without. Now, suddenly, when you start hitting his people, now, normally you would say, okay, now, look, you're my people. You whacked me in, we put me here, so I'm going to cover you. But he's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to do what I need to do. And he's leaving bodies.
Man,
everywhere.
Listen, so, but check. There are two things that's plaguing my spirit right now. That is our troops that return home, not getting the appropriate mental care that they need. To see them wandering after being gone for years from losing their marriages. Children don't know them. And now we're not even here to help them recover. Yeah, I mean, I'm that just man, that stirs my grits on the high fire. You feel me? It's like it makes no sense to me at all. And my thing is when crack and oh my God, crack cocaine was the main thing when I was a kid. You know, that's what came in and just turned our communities upside down. But now these opiums and all this kind of stuff is going into the other communities. Now we have a drug issue. But when it was plaguing our people in the 80s and the 90s, we didn't get the help that we needed. And that crack cocaine did some mental damage to a lot of people. And who wants to be in a state where you can't help yourself, where that next fix is more important than your God, than feeding your child, than brushing your teeth and combing your hair? These are the things that these drugs have done in our community. And the aftermath is a lot of mental health, because a lot of the babies were born of crack mothers and fathers.
But see, there's a backstory to everything. And the backstory back here was they went after this one guy who was one of the biggest, quote-unquote, crack drug dealers out here, Freeway Ricky Ross, when they went after him hoof and nail. And so he made a point when they were trying to convict him. He made a point and said, look here, what kind of money do I have to bring in these kind of drugs? What kind of connections do I have to bring in this kind of stuff? When they were giving the weapons to the Bloods, the Crips, the Kids, where can we get this? And so they were finding out that the paper trail led to the government bringing stuff in our neighborhood. Diane Watson brought this into and then they wanted to, say crazy stuff to her. Others that have tried to talk about it, they want to say something. But we know the truth, and truth will set you free. I'm going to tell you how I really put it together and say politics is going to be the liar it is and will be until it's exposed, is when for a second they dropped ICE. That was super crack. And when they dropped ICE off at the front door and our boy Len Bias died from ICE, but their white kids start dying too because they were doing the pipe too.
Oh, yeah.
And when their white kids start doing that too and dying, ICE left the scene. You ain't heard no more from ICE. I think it lasted about a couple of months, and it was gone. That's when you know that you know.
I know that you know.
And so this is what they're giving us. And then so he's like, look, you're saying I'm doing all this by myself. No, let's take the paper trail. And so now he's talking about it and letting them know the true facts behind the facts. But we've already figured this out. Right. So now that it's got its cartilage, and it's got its tentacles into our society now, what do we do? How do we, when the police come out there with domestic violence calls, when they come out there for somebody going out and walking around with a knife or a stick or whatever, harming people and acting crazy, then the first thing they're looking at is saying, okay, here's somebody who's a danger to society, danger to police, kill him. And then they come to find out later that it is a mental illness issue.
And listen to this. It says, what is sad that the Vietnam vets are now receiving some help, the help that they need. And a lot of them are up in age. And generally, once they receive benefits, a lot of them die. That's the sad part. That is the sad part, Eddie. You are so right. You are so right.
It took us long enough. I'm a veteran. And like I said, when I go down there to the VA, thank God that, like I said, that he covers us.
Yeah,
because, like I said, I got my own coverage, okay, which is good coverage. So I don't basically have to deal and dance to their beat because the reason I wasn't was because the stories that these old school vets were telling me. They would go in there with a toe issue and turn around and be scheduled for appendectomies. I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, oh, they go in there with a toothache and they pull out half their teeth. They were doing some crazy stuff, and then they finally came out over the last few years and like, oh, we got a problem with the VA.
Right.
Okay, you got more than a problem. Then they took so long to identify Agent Orange and PTSD with this syndrome. And it was so crazy to have somebody volunteer. And thank God, because I had college, I was able to be in the administration squad.
Right.
I wasn't set over there with a rifle to sit there and shoot people for a living.
Okay.
And, I stayed here, and God saw that fit for me.
Okay.
And so in that one there, imagine all the cats, and I was a Marine. And Marines are the first one to go in.
Yeah, the first
so they looked at me like I was crazy because, like I said, you're making all these top grades. And why would you go into the Marine Corps? I wanted to do it despite my dad. It didn't worry him no bit. He's like, okay, how'd that work out for you?
Right.
The longest boot camp, the most strenuous one, but it made more of a man out of me. It made me understand the craziness that goes on with it.
Right.
So as I was going through boot camp, and then I was assigned then to my duty station here locally, but back east, but MCR from MCRD to I went to back where the CIA and everything, CIDs and everybody there, Quantico, were trained, FBI agents were trained, and I was back in support there.
Okay.
So I got a chance to see behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, but the same cats that I went to boot camp with, I'd see them come through some of the hospitals, legs blown off, heads blown off, talking crazy. I'd be like, hey, remember me from boot camp? They don't even remember their own name.
I know.
And it was like, we were blessed, but imagine the ones that never had a chance. And to today, they don't have a chance, because I'm still seeing veterans that when I go out to the VA, just to go and just, stick a head in to make sure I keep it fresh.
Right.
And they're sitting there and they don't know which way to go. They're like, okay, I came here last week. I've been out since the Vietnam War, and I never knew this service was available.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how could you? Nobody's trying to talk about it. Nobody's trying to tell them how to straighten up their lives.
Right.
And so that's why they get lost.
Groups. We need more support groups.
Yes, we do.
Need, and the sad part is they'll say, well, there's a support group over here.
Right.
How the heck are they going to get there?
Hey.
Most of them don't even have a leg to drive.
No.
Because their leg has been blown off in a war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, what's sad is we're sitting here right now, and we got brothers and sisters somewhere over yonder right now under fire.
Right.
And we don't know anything about it.
No. It's not our war.
It's so sad.
It's not our war.
And when we go, my sons, they volunteer at our VA out here in Loma Linda. They volunteer and they go out and, they take the elders to the doctor. They wheel them in and take them out, put them on a bus, and different things that I'm so proud of my sons Dante and Anaya for doing that.
Shout out,
yeah,
Dante
shout
Anaya,
out Dante
shout out.
and Anaya. You man, you make your mother proud. But they, they feed them. They stay there
Right.
for lunch and everything, and I do big concerts there
Right.
Every year. And in the vestibule, a day of jazz.
I got you.
You know
I
what I
got you.
mean? Just so they can clap their hands
Wow.
and know that somebody loves them, man. I don't advertise it.
I got you.
I've never advertised it because it's not about me.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? That's something that we're supposed to take care of each other, man.
Right.
And we're not doing it, and we already see our system is not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I'm
Right.
sorry. I that's my leader for here and forevermore. Because I can't do it. I
Right.
just can't. I can't. I will never put my faith in a human being ever
Right.
again in my life. Never. Not like that. Where I'm dependent.
Right.
Whether I live or die, whether I recover or not, whether I'm healed or sick.
Right.
I can't put that in man's hands. I can't do that. And my prayer is that, but we have to understand that God does work through man.
Yes, he does.
But if man is not in alignment
right. That's a ticket.
with God and righteousness, then everything is still is damned. It's not. There's no victory because without the truth, the love, and the righteousness, we're on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And right now we see a lot's on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, like I said, one of the craziest wars to date that they're finally admitting to, the Vietnam War. And that was a war we should never have gotten into.
Right.
It took us so long to get out of it.
Exactly.
And still, we've got people still missing through there. And during that era right there, then there were times when some of the soldiers were saying that they were accosted by the enemy that said, okay, you black guys, this is not your war.
Right.
And gave them a ghetto pass.
Right.
And it freaked them out. But they weren't, they were
Yeah.
taught to just go and just give your life. And
Yeah.
that's what you do. You just
Yeah.
follow the flag and whatever. They come back now and the flag doesn't cover them. That's not our war. And now, looking at it now, let's fast forward. Nothing changes but the date. So
Right.
as we fast forward now to where we're looking at wars or rumors of wars that
Right.
was promised us.
Exactly.
This dude called our president goes over here and he's dealing with two of the craziest scenarios. Russia, we've never been cool with Russia, but yet and still, he's a good guy according to our leader. He's a good, great guy.
I
And
cannot.
then he goes over here to a psychopath that killed his own father and his uncle to get the power over in North Korea, and says he's a good guy too. When they're doing all these atrocities to themselves and others, and everything, and so he says they're a good guy. So if you consider this to be a good guy, then something is off in your meter there.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about wars, and you're going to say, okay, you bring your gun to the table, I'm going to bring my tank. You bring in your tank, I'm going to bring my supersonic. Now he wants to get this space thing going on. He wants to get a space army. To where now we got a new branch of the service that covers the space aspect of it here.
Wow,
And so you cannot win against things you don't understand, things that you don't
Exactly.
acknowledge, things that you know is a lie.
Right.
Because you can deal with the truth once it's exposed to be the truth, and you can put it against the lie, the
Right.
light against the dark,
Right.
and let it measure itself with
Right.
itself.
Right.
But when you're lying
Yeah.
and you're covering up the whole
Constantly.
world, and then you
Constantly.
got people that are supposed to be looking up to you because you're the leader of the free world,
Right.
then who is zooming who, like our girl said? So
Right.
therein lies the craziness. And so do you think they want to cover the cost of helping people that they sent there that have lost their minds in the war? They want to push it under cover. So if they're pushing it under the rug, they don't want to admit that they're wrong, that we even went to war. They don't want to admit that we need help with our troops.
That's
they don't,
right.
and our veterans. So we're always going to be that country
Right.
that is supposed to be looked up as the greatest of all times, but we have somebody at the top that's saying some crazy stuff. So if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and
It's
walks
a
like a duck,
dang-gone
it
duck.
ain't Affleck. Guys, don't get it twisted. It's a duck.
Tell me something. Tell me about this orange spray. What is that?
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange. Right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Agent Orange.
And now what they were doing is certain chemicals, because you're fighting some people like the Cambodians and some of the others that we were fighting in Vietnam. That is mostly a water-soaked scenario everywhere. And so when these guys were jumping out of rice paddies and out of the ground and being able to live and breathing through straws or whatever, and our troops were going over there thinking they're fighting head up. They're not fighting head up. They're in somebody else's backyard. If I come to your backyard and try to fight you, you got cubby holes, you got places on the roof and the ceiling and the chimney, shrubbery. But see, I'm not knowing this. But you're going there and say, okay, because I got the manpower and the big guns, and so it's a numbers count. So I go in there with 50,000 troops this week and I lose 25 of them. I can ship another 75,000 within a couple of days. So I got people that's expendable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now the college kids basically are going to the Air Force or some of the other places where they're back in the. So this Agent Orange scenario was a scenario which is gas, toxic gases that they were able to drop in on the enemy, and napalm gas. When so it's like taking a gas pump.
Yeah.
When you pump your gas in the car and light a fire in front of it and see how flat the flames flare.
So they're doing this on purpose?
They were doing that to try to get to the enemy, to flush them out and kill them and all that other stuff.
So how is it hitting us?
Okay, it's like pesticide.
I'm seeing here, someone I've known my whole life, love the whole family. You wouldn't think were birthed in the same family as much as we love each other. But, he's... my dear friend Eddie, my darling Eddie, he's talking about this being sprayed somewhere where his father was in the Gulf experience.
But see, no matter what, then they try to come from so let's look at the retardant. When they go out there to fight these fires, and you see these big planes dropping this orange stuff out the sky that's red, it's a fire retardant. Imagine that. But it's coming from these jets, and that's what they have in these tanks, and they're just putting this in there, and it's coming down from the air, which means people are breathing it. It's in their skin. It's in there. You know what I'm saying? And then it's you know what I'm saying? It's a calculated risk they look at, because you're going to lose a bunch of our people with their people.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
It's
they're
not
coming
like you
back
can't
worse.
separate.
He's saying they're coming back worse.
Yeah, and so for years they didn't even want to recognize that as a disease. They weren't trying to recognize that as anything. Like the guy now, he just won a case against Roundup, the what you use in your backyard and he's weeks away from dying. And they finally get it because they're saying the toxic chemicals in there, and he's being around it and breathing it. They've got other doctors saying asbestos and whatever for these people that have been working in construction. See, after a while, it's collateral damage. And so many people lost their lives, and people have started to say, look, there's something to this one here. So it makes them, CDC, have to look into it. Agent Orange, they knew when they were dropping it that there was going to be collateral damage because you're breathing this stuff in that's meant to kill the enemy, and you don't think some of us are breathing. We're in the same place, airspace.
Same atmosphere.
Yeah. So, but now they're kind of saying, okay, but they know they got to pay these cats out too. So now they may go years fighting to get this case reviewed, revisited, and then if they do get money, then it's their family. They're dead.
Eddie, I've known you my whole life. I didn't know that about your dad.
It's sad. But it's real talk.
Yeah, it is sad.
It's real.
It's sad. Hi, Myrna. I love you. Wow.
So this is the kind of thing. And then now we're dealing with two crazy people over there that's in there in these foreign countries now that are sitting there dropping gas on their own people. And so if we're going to go into war with these cats like that, there's still got chemical warfare going on. So how's it ever going to win? How's it going to ever be a better scenario to live with? The one thing that nobody wants to talk about is like we're in the end time. Right.
There's absolutely nothing we can do to escape from the fact that we're in the end time.
Right.
So that's why hell is wreaking havoc like 24/8 right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is no stopping the enemy trying to take out as many of us as he possibly can take with him, because his time is up, family. That's something we really need to really understand. His time is up, and he knows it.
Right.
And that's why he's coming full throttle. And we have to understand, we really have to understand that there is victory if you got to come out of her. I'm sorry. We got to come out of anything that man has said or done. See, I live by what is in them books. I'm sorry, I can't. And he said that every man is a lie, and let the word of God alone be true.
Right.
So I can't, like, there are things that man says is law, but I don't see it in that book.
Right.
If it ain't in them books, that's my manuscript.
Right, right.
See, that's my creed. That's where my allegiance is to, and that's my constitution. That's my citizenship. That's where my citizenship lies. So I can't do the other thing. I'm contrary. I don't understand it, and it doesn't understand me, because you got different laws in different places, and my God is sovereign. If he makes a decision, that's it. That's all. There's nothing else to be said. He's immovable. If he makes a law, this is no democracy in his kingdom. So I want to live where the laws are for my benefit, even if I feel like sometime it might be strifeful or it might be a challenge. I want to be where I know my king, my leader, is making the best decision for me, because he knows what he created, how he created it, and what it will do to sustain itself and what it can do to demolish itself. And that's what we got to get to. Man's time is up.
Yeah.
I mean, as we can see, they keep turning on each other. 1 minute they're saying love and peace. And God said when they start saying peace, whoop, sudden destruction is going to happen. So we have to stay on our P's and Q's. And we can't act like what the Most High has said is not coming to pass. I'm watching everything my grandmother told me as a 5-year-old now come to pass now at almost 50. So I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I can't believe that these things are coming to pass, like word for word. I know some folks don't want to say, some people just want the Old Testament. Some people just want the New Testament. Some people don't even know about the Apocrypha because they don't even know about the original Bible. That's the 1611. And we really got to start our due diligence. We got to stop reading the Bible and study the Bible.
Yeah.
Because if you seek him, you're going to find there is so much more information. If first of all, we just start being obedient, your healing will come. Your healing comes from obedience. There are things God tells us not to eat, not to do, and we do it. And then we be like, oh, but the Lord, he gonna fix it. And then when they die, oh, the Lord knew best, so he took them home. Stop. He was eating pork. He was killing himself. He had diabetes. He had the sugar. He had high blood pressure. He had all of these different things. And we got to stop blaming God, or then trying to then saying, well, God took him. No, there is a work that we have to do. I'm talking to myself right now in the power of the Spirit, because I had to change my life. Out of nowhere, 50 pounds came on me. And the doctor said, well, it was because you had a daughter at almost 40. And then, all these different things happened to me hormonally. But it's been up to me to make the changes in what I eat, how I'm resting, how I allow stress into my life. I had to start and first of all, and look at me. It's not about the doctor. I heard, my grandmama or my mother might have had. My mother does have hyperthyroid. She has the one that makes you lose weight. Really, I get the one to make you thick. All right, Mom. But anyway, I got the thick one. But but even with that, there's still things that we have to do. If we saying we want, when you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. So we really have to put in the work in every aspect of our lives. In our spiritual journey, we can't live vicariously through T.D. Jakes and what all the rest of them. Right. We can't do that. You got to know for yourself. T.D. can't stand up for me.
Right.
And I can't stand up for anybody else. So you have to study to show yourself approved. You got to seek and get the information. God gave us everything for these bodies to heal themselves. We were built to last. We weren't even supposed to die. Of course, Mama and Daddy in the garden jacked up. Okay, I get that too.
Right.
But these bodies, these temples were built to last. So we have to put ourselves into alignment and come into the place of healing. You can't get healed when you still on Suicide Boulevard. You feel me? You gotta get in the lane. So that's the thing. We're not doing the work right now. And I really believe that. What'd you say?
You know what? You're right, but okay. So
love you
what
too,
I try to do is we can talk about the situations all day long.
Right.
We can make our complaints all day long.
Right.
Now we've got to tighten it up and find a way to heal
Right.
the world.
Right.
Okay, so this is how we do it when we come on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
We try to find candidates
Right.
that are in the kingdom building process of their
That's it.
professions
That's
that
it.
say, okay, I get it.
That's
I
it.
hear what you're saying. Let me be a part of the team to talk about what we can do to help. That's why
Right.
we have the Dr. Maxey's,
Right.
who's able to help people that don't know
Right.
that they don't have to live in pain anymore,
Right.
because stem cell research
Right.
has developed to such a cutting edge now
Yeah.
to where they're growing back cartilage. When they say, well, you lose your cartilage in your knee or whatever, you got to get an amputation and just
I
or get
can't
a
wait to tell
hip
my
replacement.
mommy. I'm sorry, I'm still a baby when it comes down to Willamette. I
Gotcha.
can't wait to tell my mommy that she don't have to get her knee replaced,
No,
her cartilage
no.
replaced, because now there's a cutting edge, you
Yep.
know, stem cell and this rejuvenation medication that is happening where they can just inject blood.
Your own blood.
Her
Your own blood. But the Bible
healing
says,
plasma,
yes.
you know, they spin it out
Yes.
and they can inject that into her knee.
That's exactly
so
correct.
that's something for even our brothers and sisters that are coming in and out of Facebook that have, you know, I hear a lot. I hear a lot of people talk to me about their knee issues, their back issues.
Yeah.
And now we got doctors that are saying, listen, you know, God has opened up a portal
Right.
of healing for us.
Right.
You know, and they're making it economical.
Affordable.
They're making it economically affordable for our community.
Right.
Dr. Maxey, on the cutting edge, we
Right.
love you.
Right.
My Black Diamond, you are amazing, because he is world renowned, an amazing doctor here in LA, family that is just doing the greatest of things. Larry, you're gonna have to get out here. We got a doctor, honey. You gonna walk and talk and dance to Tina Marie like you always have. We got a great doctor, honey.
Yeah.
We gonna be all right. I love you, boo. I'm so glad to see you recovering and looking well on your pictures. I've been checking you out. You know I'm watching you. But yeah, you know, it's now knowing that we have this
Right.
available.
Yeah.
But even with that, though, D, we got to make sure people are in alignment to stay.
Right. Gotcha.
You just like I seen people get this surgery, the lap band, or when they
Right.
take half your. You get all of that done, then you go back to
Go back to the
eating.
pig.
You go back to eating everything,
Right.
and then it's like, yo,
Right. Defeating the purpose.
you
Yes.
done paid thousands of dollars to come down for 6 months.
That's right.
And then, really?
That's
no, we have to stay in alignment.
You got to put in the work.
We have got to put in the work,
Yep.
family.
Yeah.
And believe you me, I'm talking to myself.
Mm.
I'm talking to myself. This hypothyroidism will not have me.
Right.
I refuse. I
Right.
refuse to hear I am hypertension. I got hypertension. What?
Mhm.
I might be hyper.
Right. Wow.
I'm known for being an Energizer Bunny on stage, but
right.
to hear, you know, high blood pressure and things that could possibly,
Yeah.
you know, cause damage in my health,
Yeah, that
I
ain't
have
cool.
major issues with that.
Right.
You know, but it was up to me. It was up to me to change.
That's right. That's right. The
I
formula.
had to completely change. I just one day I just woke up and I said, I'm shutting down today.
Right.
Now I'm gonna check and see what I need to do to reboot my body,
Right.
right? So I find this video on YouTube. You know how you always send me
Yep.
YouTube. I found this thing on YouTube called Sick and Half Nearly Dead. It's called Sick and Half Dead or something like that.
Right.
But anyway, this brother from Europe decided to go on a fast
Okay.
for 40 days
Wow.
of doing nothing but juicing. And that's where I am right now. I just started. I'm on day 2, and
Wow.
I'm feeling good. They said you feel horrible by day 2 and 3, but for some strange reason, I'm feeling amazing. And I watched that movie, and it spoke to me.
Right.
Like, I mean, he helped another man with the same kind of disease that he had, and he just ran into him while driving across the country. He ran into this gentleman, and he had the same exact disease that he had, but this brother was like 400, almost 500 pounds.
Right.
And he said, when you're ready, I'm going to help you.
Right.
And out of the blue, after the man went back to Europe, back to his office, he's working, that brother called him, and he did better than the gentleman that flew over here from Europe.
Right.
I mean, this dude was just dropping weight and actually reversed the disease. That was my purpose. We can reverse the disease.
Yes, you can.
That we're being told that we have.
Yes.
I gotta take this off. We can come out of it, and we can do better. We can get better, and we can heal.
Right.
But it is a process. I'm willing now to crucify myself.
You got to work the program. I'm telling you, for those that have known me, and like I said, I'm constantly on the run. When I was doing the video and camera work on set, I was always in craft services, and when everybody's eating the balanced meals, I needed to use my sugar to keep my momentum flowing. And Dr. Maxey pulled me out of the clinic because I've been knowing him for years, coming on the show and doing things with him. And next thing I know, I was on the hospital on my back. With 800 blood count sugar. And if anybody knows something about that with diabetes right there, that was not pre-diabetes. That was 800. That was comatose right there.
Right.
And so he told me to go to the hospital. He went out there and was there. By the time I got through there, it took me, he's in Centinela, although I'm out of Cedars-Sinai.
Okay.
So I was closer to here. So he sent me through there. And by the time I got to the waiting room, and people had been waiting there for hours, I was in there no less than 3 minutes, and I was up in a bed with IV in my arm. That's where I was on my way out of here.
See?
And since that was like 6 years ago, and so I went to the ritual. And 6 years later, like I said, I've never had the like some people do the high blood count, high blood pressure.
Yes.
I was blessed. Never had high blood pressure with it, but I've always worked out, and that was one thing that they said saved me because I stayed in the gym all the time. And now it was God's will. I've reversed all that.
That's what Dr. Maxey said.
Yeah, that's
he
reversible.
said I should have had a stroke.
Right.
But if it wasn't for the fact that I'd be on stages, your girl be cutting up on the stage. If it wasn't for that,
right.
I probably would be somewhere twisted up. Yeah. And my God, two of my brothers went through such a tragic situation with their health last year. My brother that I'm right next to, Brian, he had a stroke, and it was just really. It was just, and me being all the way out here and hearing and getting those phone calls from my eldest brothers telling me about what's happening to my brother, and I can't get to them, but then hearing I'm this close to a stroke, or no, I heard I should have had.
Right.
I should have had a stroke, and I just left New Jersey. You feel me? Yeah. So I'm going, oh my God, and they're saying, you should have had a stroke. If you look at these numbers, and girl. So that dancing that you're doing and that singing, it's definitely doing something to balance.
Right.
Because you should have gone in by now. You know what I mean? I'm too young to be up in the hundreds.
Yeah, and
on both highs and lows.
Yeah, it's crazy,
but you
got to work the program. And like I said, for so I'm gonna take a slight pause for the calls now and tell them right quick and to tell your Facebook people too that they can hit us up on gospeljazzconnection@yahoo.com because we want to hear from them. We want their emails. Start emailing us with some questions with some of the things we need to research because we're about it.
Yes, sir.
And so we brought in Dr. Maxey, we brought in Dr. Cutter, who's one of the top young female surgeons in the country.
Oncologist.
Yeah, so she's
anybody have questions for breast cancer? We have a wonderful doctor, Dr. Cutter. She is amazing, and we can't wait for you can call in and please give me the email address again.
Right, Gospel Jazz Connection.
Gospel Jazz Connection
at yahoo.com. And
please send us emails.
Yeah.
We want to know what
you're
it
looking
is
for.
You need to talk about.
Exactly.
We want to know what it is. You have a voice.
Right.
Your voice matters.
Right.
You matter. So please call if there's anything, if you want us to bring a doctor in,
Right.
so that you can ask one-on-one questions.
Bingo.
If there's any issues you want to address, I mean, this is we the life. We talk life.
Yep.
We talk relationships. We talk your spiritual journeys. We talk about the rebellion. You know, I went through the rebellion. So you know what I mean? Where I was
Yeah.
like, man, please, I didn't want nothing to do with the God.
Right. Right.
I didn't want nothing to do.
But
I
he
was
can
like,
slow
for
you
real?
down.
No.
But he knows how to slow you down,
Yeah,
don't
I
he?
was mad.
Yeah,
I
get
was
your
like,
attention.
what?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to know you. And then he sat me down in a wonderful place.
Yeah.
A hospital.
Yeah, he'll show get your attention. So
where
I
he talked to me.
I want you folks to take this minute right now to get your pen and paper ready, because we're going to give you this email again. Also, like I said, we're going to be dealing with a clinical psychiatrist that's going to be coming and answer questions, because there are mental health issues that are abounding. Some people talk about it, but they call it bipolar, ADHD, or whatever they want to call it, and that's a life and a bit of hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you know how to contain it, how to identify it,
Yes, sir.
you can get on top of it. It doesn't take medication either, because
Yes,
medication
sir.
is another way of killing yourself and prolonging it,
Yes.
because it doesn't attack the problem.
Right.
It solidifies it and makes your head feel like everything's okay, but it's not what you need to cure.
Right.
The cure is within you.
Yes.
And there are doctors that are showing you, like Dr. Maxey, with using your own blood system
Right.
purified to
Right.
go and attack those cancer cells, go and attack them and regrowing cartilage and doing the things you need to get yourself back together.
Yes.
The other doctor with Cutler, that with the cancer or whatever, there are healing mechanisms.
Yes.
And also, like I said, he's touched other people that came aboard and said, okay, I want to help. And so if you don't have the money you think you need, don't even
No.
trip. Call us,
They'll
because
set up
they'll
payment
set
plans.
up. Not only that, if
Yeah.
you're at a point in you can't afford it.
Yeah.
They've got people that
To
are
help
putting
you.
scholarships together for you.
Yeah.
There's no reason now to be sick.
That's right.
There's no
Nadine
reason to
Lee,
sit back and
we're going to
walk
have to
around.
have you in here, dog.
Yeah.
This is another wonderful pillar in the community. She's just an amazing
Yeah,
woman.
we got
She
help.
helps the youth, so we got to bring her in here.
And then also give them a 4-Point Media
Yes.
LLC. That's where you see some of our shows. We do a television show weekly.
Yes, sir.
And a live show.
Yeah.
And it's 4.5 million between our, we go AT&T U-verse, and also we
Yeah.
do Channel 36 Spectrum.
Yeah.
But we also put it on a Facebook too. Now I'm gonna get more Facebook literate so that I can reach more people through it.
Yeah, look,
but you
I
can
think
see
I'm
it.
doing something. I done started, I done found out how to push live.
But we got YouTube. We got YouTube too. So our YouTube channel again is FOUR point POINT Media MEDIA LLC. That's 4-Point Media LLC, and you can see Makita's show. She has a show where she does
Relationship Rebirth.
Yeah, rebirth. Talks
Yeah.
about relationships, all kind of relationships.
Yeah.
You know, God, relationship between
Yeah.
families,
This
between jobs.
Wednesday
between,
we got two brothers coming in speaking dating over 40.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Living single.
I got to listen to them on that one there.
Yeah,
okay.
dating over 40, and has it been as chaotic as a lot of women say? That's why I want the male's perspective. I said
it's
we're gonna
chaotic.
have the men come in this week.
Nah,
So
I might have to chime in on that one. It's
oh,
chaotic,
you got to
yeah.
come sit down.
Yeah, probably.
I know
Look at-
you behind the camera, but I want you to come sit and have a conversation.
No, I might have to come in, like I said, because like I said, I told somebody the other day, they said, man, you still single, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Been there, done that, did the marriage,
Yeah, you
had my
did.
daughter, didn't work, had the grandson, it didn't work. But like I said, I told somebody, the next woman, I'm going to know it because she's going to love God more than she could ever love me.
There it is.
And that way I know I got somebody who got my back, Bonnie and Clyde.
There you
so
go.
I'm not even tripping right now. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm
Yeah.
producing shows, I'm directing
Yeah.
shows, I'm creating shows.
But she's out
And
there.
so, yeah, and
If-
I'm
if
we'll
you-
identify each other.
If you
You'll know
want
it.
her, she's out there.
Yeah, but she'll know it. We'll get the same memo. I keep getting these women say,
Yeah.
"Oh, God told me I'm in this and I'm going to do this
No,
for you."
it's
No,
he
I
that
didn't get that
finds.
memo.
It's he that finds.
I did not.
It's
Yes,
he that finds.
Yes, finds
it's
a good
he
thing.
that finds.
Well.
So when you find, then there will be an agreement.
yes.
Within her.
Yeah.
When that agreement, that's what we got to stop. It's out of order.
Right.
So we got to put it back in order.
Yes,
it
divine
has
order.
To be, it has
women
to be
looking.
you.
I tell them, women looking, it ain't gonna do you no good.
Nah, I
but
don't
see,
look.
the,
I just
the
knew
guys.
what I wanted.
But talking to you guys out there, you got to do your homework too. I stay in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay chiseled.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna keep
listen
my.
to
I'm gonna
Cher.
keep my thing together because you know what? Because when she
you've
sees
been out
you,
of control the last month.
Well, when she sees you, then she's got to be able to say, "Wow, okay, God, I appreciate you." You know,
And he's
gonna give you
handsome,
the desire.
family.
She's gonna give you the desire of your heart. So you don't want to have a situation to where you're saying, "Lord, I got to take this because this is the best I could do." In God's world, it's not the best you can do.
Right.
He's got somebody particularly for you. So people tell me, "Oh, God gave me this woman, and I'm getting the divorce." God didn't give you that woman. We got free choice. So you pick that woman,
There it
or
is.
you pick that man.
Yes.
That's on you.
Free
Don't
will.
blame that on God.
Yeah.
Quit blaming God for
Yeah.
all these things you have,
He ain't
or
gonna
the
pick.
devil too. The devil made
What
you
he's
do it.
going to
Yeah, come
do
on
is
now.
reveal. He'll
Yes.
reveal to you who and what that person
Wow.
possesses, and then it's up to you to make a decision.
You got to make a decision.
You got to make a choice.
Yeah, so you guys have got to get on this email. You got to call us.
Yeah.
Hit us up, email on gospeljazzconnection@yahoo.com.
Gospel Jazz Connection
At yahoo.com.
yahoo.com.
And also check us up on YouTube and
Check
see the
us
shows.
out on YouTube.
4 Point Media
4 Point Media
LLC.
LLC.
Spelling that out. F-O-U-R.
F-O-R.
F-O-U-R.
Oh, F-O-U-R.
Point. P-O-I-N-T.
P-O-I-N-T.
Media. M-E-D-I-A.
M-E-D-I-A.
LLC.
LLC.
Okay, and just we got about a couple minutes left, so you know what? The music we're playing in the background, you've been hearing
Hey,
the
cousin, I love
smooth
you.
music has been Makita.
Oh.
She's been doing a thing for us today, and we've just been talking because that's what music and conversation is all about. We're able
That's
to
it.
have the music up and running, and it's Makita from
And
the Makita
you know what?
album.
That's something else that we haven't talked about. I have a cousin that popped on here, my heart, Nina Bell Graves, and my cousin has been fighting for lupus, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another thing
Oh,
we
yeah.
got to bring
Oh.
to our community. Lupus
Yes.
is major,
Yeah.
and we really got to bring awareness to that.
People don't
but
know what it is.
family, I just want to thank you guys on Facebook for tuning in today. Listening, I love you too, beautiful, and we really want to make sure that we grow stronger, that we do better, know better, so we can do better. So thank you very much for tuning in today for Jazz with Conversation with Mr. D Nice
And Miss Makita.
and Miss Makita.
And we do this each and every week right here, KTYM.media, if you want to catch up any of the shows and see what you've been missing. And, you know, like we say each and every week, we can always talk about it, but you got to start being about it because
Yes.
this is kingdom building time.
Yes.
And if you don't build the kingdom's going to get built by somebody
Yes,
else.
sir.
So don't
Yes,
stand
sir.
in front of those judgment days, not the judgment that's going to deal with your soul,
That's it.
but the judgment that's going to say what you do for God is going to last and what you did for anyone else is going to burn.
Yes.
So be on the right side. So that's why I say each and every week, put God first and everything else will follow.
Yes, sir.
I guarantee it. So as we get out of here, we're listening to Makita. See you next week.
Much love, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cousin Nina, I really want you to